Hello, I'm Mike Naziri. I'm here with Bruce Knox, and Bruce Knox is probably one of the biggest trick curlers right out there.
Me, Max, and Coop, I'd say.
Yeah, and but you do have the sickest strict curl rack, I guess you call it.
Platform.
Platform, strict curl platform. Yeah.
Yeah,
As you see my strict curl tree. You like
there you
that?
go.
Put it up
That's a start.
just for you. But,
Thanks.
so, were you powerlifting first before the strict curl?
Yeah, I mean, I've been powerlifting since probably 2012. I think I started training, and 2013 was my first meet.
Yeah. And
Um,
when did the strict curl get introduced into 100% raw?
I think it's always been there. It
Yeah.
just hasn't been. It hasn't been extremely popular. And I didn't start with 100% raw. I started with the USAPL. And I actually started, my first meet was geared lifting.
Yeah.
So I think I only did one geared meet, and then I switched to raw. And then I ended up going 100% raw for the strict curl because I had a knee injury, which didn't allow me to squat. So I decided I'll try strict curl.
Yeah.
And the first time I tried a strict curl at the gym, I curled 150 pounds.
Really?
So yeah.
How much did you weigh?
How much did I weigh at the time?
Yeah.
Probably like 225.
That's still big. That's still huge strict curl. That's wow. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah. So, I figured might as well give it a try since I can't squat, and it gave me something to do.
Yeah. Well, it's a lot of fun to do.
Oh yeah, it's great. It's a lot of fun, and it doesn't, in terms of a meet, it doesn't eat up a lot of time.
Yeah.
And just.
No one seems to be like mentally like messed up by the strict curl. Like the squat will like totally mess people up. Like everyone seems to always be having fun with the strict curl.
Oh yeah. I mean, well, that's the way it should be with powerlifting in general, but yeah, strict curl. I mean, I guess it's seen as a novelty, right? So until recently it's really taken off into something else.
Yeah.
But it's always been kind of a novelty type lift. And yeah, I mean, it's a lot of fun, easy to do. Anybody can do it.
Yeah, I had on the podcast Strict Curl Joe. You know him?
Okay, yeah, Joe Freddy.
Yeah, Joe Frenny. And yeah, he's a big proponent of the strict curl. He goes around the country. He's really trying to get the sport even bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the first time I met Joe was maybe 2017, and I think that was my first Worlds. I think he was there, and it was his first Worlds. And then yeah, I've seen him at all kinds of meets ever since then.
Yeah. I don't know anyone everyone.
Audio kind of went weird. I can't really hear you.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. It's good.
Yeah, I was saying powerlifting's nice like that. You know what I mean? 'Cause I don't really hear anyone going around talking trash about anyone. I mean, maybe there is, but mostly from what I hear, everyone has nice things to say about everyone else, and everyone's willing to go out of their way to help.
Yeah, I think it depends on the federation, and I mean, most of us are out here just trying to have fun.
Yeah.
But with social media, there's definitely a lot of trash talking going on social media.
Yeah.
But I've never experienced anything negative at a meet, I don't think.
Yeah. I've had a lot of people that I mean, just really like, I guess, high up as you are in the sport. Like they'll go out of their way to help me with things,
Sure. Yeah.
help me with technique or this or that. So I've had nothing but positive experience.
Well, yeah, and that's why we started that YouTube channel, Curling Avengers, because not many people know how to strict curl or anything about it.
Yeah.
So, we have all kinds of technique videos, we have training videos up there, and we get all kinds of messages all the time from people trying to learn how to do it because there's not much information out there.
Okay, so most of the big strict curlers, actually all the big strict curlers, right, are curling with an inside grip, right? Why?
Yeah. I'll tell you why. So I used to be an outside grip curler, right? So 100% raw, they have 3 bars that can be used on the platform.
Yeah.
You have the Ivanko OBZ55, you have the Ivanko OBZ30, and you have the Rogue bar. So the Rogue and the Ivanko OBZ55 have very similar angles, and it has a very generous outside angle. So that the OBZ55 was the one that was being used for a long time. They're using it at all meets. They're using it Worlds, and then one Worlds they use the Rogue, which if you're outside grip curler, you wouldn't notice a difference, right? Until recently, they switched to the OBZ30, and that might be because of the price of the OBZ55. The OBZ55 is like $400, and the OBZ30 is only about, I think, $150. So $400 for a curl bar, that's pretty crazy. But the OBZ30, the angles on that outside grip, it's when you pick it up after curling the OBZ55, it feels like a straight bar. And so that happened to me, I think, 2019 Worlds, right? So I was told we were going to use the OBZ55 bar. I was thrilled because I was an outside grip curler until I got to Worlds and there was the OBZ30 bar. And I had never tried the OBZ30 bar before, right? So I get on the platform and that thing, I picked it up. It almost spun right out of my hands because it felt like a straight bar. And it definitely, if you're not used to it, it's going to cut your curl down. If you're outside curler, easily 10 to 15 pounds. So that's why you see a lot of people now, they've switched to the inside grip. The inside grip on the OBZ30 bar is a little wider than the OBZ55. So it is a little easier to get that inside grip. You're not as tight. So it depends on the bar.
Yeah. So you wouldn't say straight across the board. You definitely have to curl on the inside. It's the best way to curl.
No, and everybody has different strengths. Bigger guys, it's going to be a lot more difficult to get inside. And I saw a meet recently. They introduced the strict curl, and they used some bar, and it had crazy angles. It was nearly like hammer grip on the outside. So like I said, it depends on the bar. It depends what you're comfortable with, and it depends on your strengths. When I got back from that Worlds, I immediately ordered the OBZ30 bar, and I was cranking on that. It took about 6 months to adjust to it, but once you adjust to it, it feels normal, it feels comfortable.
Yeah, because I'm an outside curler, and I tried to switch to narrow grip because I see a lot of the big big curlers doing it. It cuts like 20 pounds off my curl. I'm just so much weaker that way.
Right. So when I switched to it, so at the time when I switched to it, I could curl 185.9 outside grip with the OBZ55.
Right.
When I switched to inside grip with the OBZ30, I probably couldn't even curl 160. But I mean, there's the learning curve. You have to give it a shot. And like I said, it took 6 months to really learn how to use it. And then once you learn how to use it, then you can start building on it.
Yeah. So I have a competition.
So I think go ahead.
Yeah, I have a competition coming up June 13th. So I wouldn't switch right now, but I'm thinking maybe after that competition to try and give it a shot.
Well, I think it's very important to contact the meet director and ask the meet director which bar you will be using.
Yeah.
Because if you're using that OBZ50 or the OBZ30 and you're an outside grip curler, it's really going to hurt you going into that meet with that outside grip if your bar has a more generous angle on it than the one they're using at the meet.
Yeah. That's Ed Cooten is the
yeah.
It's his meet on June 13th.
Okay. I mean, like I said, 100% raw, they've pretty much switched completely to the OBZ30 bar for one reason or the other. I don't know why. But I think it's important to know the difference between all the bars and know what you're going into when you go to a meet, because it makes a huge difference.
What's the bar you recommend to buy?
I recommend the OBZ 30 bar just because it's being used and it's a lot cheaper. I mean, who's going to buy a $400 curl bar? I mean, I did, but but I think up until recently you couldn't find the OBZ 30. I know they're available on Amazon right now, but I think the past 4 or 5 months they were all sold out, just like pretty much, all gym equipment.
Yeah. What you're curling with that the lit up platform, is that your personal? Is that a public gym? Is that your gym?
This is Knox Power Company. It's a personal training facility that my wife and I own. We opened this place up last July, at the height of the pandemic.
Good time to
I mean, it was, well, so like, that's the thing, that was kind of the appeal of this place. It's not, it's not a gym. It's a private training facility. So it's the amount of people in here at a time is very low. And we have giant garage doors we open up, so fresh air all the time. And we've been doing great, ever since we moved in here.
That's great. What are you certified as a personal trainer?
I am. Well, so I have a BS in kinesiology from University of Maryland. I used to be A certified. I'll let that go. I got a NSCA CSCS certification I've had probably for, I'd say, 7 years now. So I'll probably hang on to that one and, forget about the ACE.
Yeah, that's a brutal test, CSCS.
It was horrible, especially when you've been out of college for 6 years and you have to read an entire textbook and take a 4-hour test.
Yeah, I'm in the middle of studying for the NASM.
Yeah.
And I mean, for me, it's hard.
It's just the CPT test?
Yeah. I mean, I have a bachelor's in economics, you know what I mean? I have nothing to help
Oh, yeah.
And then on top of that too, I take medication for right now that doesn't really help me focus. It's like hard, but I'll do it. I'll get it.
I think the hardest thing for people that don't really aren't in that realm and they go into studying for a personal trainer test is the anatomy and physiology part. So like I said, I have a BS in kinesiology, took anatomy, physiology, so all that stuff, no problem. But the biggest thing to work on is the anatomy, physiology, and all the client personal trainer relationship stuff. Kind of is something that if you've been around it for a while, then you should know, and it's easy to do.
Yeah. That's pretty simple stuff. Yeah, don't come up to someone in the gym and be like, "You're doing that wrong." That's not
right.
That people aren't gonna like that.
Right. What do you plan to do with your certification?
Well, I'm a retired police officer. I retired early because of the bipolar disorder. They
Okay.
let me go. I mean, I had my pension. I did 13 years in the NYPD. And right now I'm studying for that personal trainer exam. And I have coming up this summer, I might train people with how to ride a motorcycle. So I was in NYPD Highway Patrol, it was, I mean, the course to get into that was pretty intense, the motorcycle. So So the only two things I'm good at and I like is riding motorcycles and lifting.
Well, there you go, man. I mean, if you can make a living at doing the things you love.
Well, I have it very easy because I have my pension, so I really don't make that much money to equal out to like what I was making before. So I have it pretty good. Yeah, but I mean, I guess your wife is working with you doing this. Is she a trainer also?
Yeah, she's a trainer. She's been a trainer probably 5 years. So yeah, we work here together.
Yeah. So that probably helps you a lot, right, with your lifting. So she's pretty understanding.
Yeah. I mean, we both lift pretty much 6 days a week,
Yeah.
you
So I
know,
have it
so
pretty easy like that too. My wife is a lifter also, so you know.
yeah, I mean, that's what you need. If you are going to be in a relationship and, you know, spend 2 hours in the gym every day, you probably need somebody that shares the same hobby as you.
So what what would you say your training method was when you first started lifting, and has it changed? Like,
Wow. I mean, so I started training people when I was still at Maryland in 2008. Um, you know, when you first start training people, you don't really, I mean, I didn't really know anything. You know, you kind of just do the things that maybe you've been doing with your own lifting. And I've been lifting since I was 14 years old. And I don't know, it's just, where I was, well, where I am too, it's a lot of general population, right? So it's just people, you know, they want to get in shape, whatever that means, you know? So I've definitely grown in the sense of being a personal trainer. Because I didn't start, like I said, I didn't start powerlifting in 2012. And when I started doing that, I definitely changed the way that I train people, you know, and now I train people, I train general population, a lot of older people. I train some power lifters. We have a meet coming up in a few weeks, actually. I'm taking 3 lifters there. But I generally now, everything revolves around basic movements and what people want to do with those basic movements. But I think everybody should be able to do, obviously, a squat. It's very important, and that can mean a variety of different things. You know, squat to a box. You know, for some people, if that's all they can do, you should be able to pick something up, pretty much move around pain free, have strength through full range of motion. And if people want to pursue powerlifting, then we do that,
yeah.
you know, but I want to cater to what the client wants, but, you know, obviously give my expertise to it.
Would you get frustrated in the beginning if someone didn't want to be a power lifter, like they just wanted to lose some fat?
No. That I like, you know, you see a lot of people out there, they want to be powerlifting coaches. And I think just being something, just kind of a one-dimensional trainer is boring.
Yeah.
That's extremely boring. You know, I like to have, you know, I train a 16-year-old kid, you know, I train all the way up to a 76-year-old man and everything in between,
Yeah.
you know, men and women. And like I said, I think right now I have three competitive power lifters. You know, we're going to Masters Nationals. So it's a great mixture of people, you know, so you get these power lifters every now and then, and it's exciting. But it's also exciting when you see this 76-year-old man, you know, squat 225 to full depth. I mean, that's awesome.
But what program do you use yourself?
I mean, I do all my own programming. You know, I mean, currently, right now, I'm doing something way different, something I've never done before. I'm focusing primarily on strict curls. So in the past, you know, I've always focused on squat, bench, deadlift, and strict curls all equally, right? And when you do that, it kind of, I mean, one of them is going to get, it's not going to get the attention it needs, right? So, I think like back, what was it, 2 years ago at Worlds when it was 100% Raw and World Powerlifting came together for Worlds in Virginia Beach, I think.
Yeah.
That was one of my proudest accomplishments, I think, in terms of the 4 lifts together. Because I went in on Friday in the 242 weight class, and I won best overall heavyweight belt in strict curl. I think I curled like 180 something, whatever. And then I had to lift again on Sunday so I cut down to the 220 weight class and in like 2 days or whatever. And I ended up tying for second place in full power in the 220 weight class. So that was hard, just focusing all those. And then they all were pretty good lifts. But now, like I said, I'm focusing primarily on strict curl and easing off the other ones. And you can definitely feel a big difference.
So I've talked to not a lot of personal trainers, but I've talked to a lot of coaches, and they all tell me that they prefer coaching women. And it's not because they like women, they're attractive. It's because they say that they listen more than the males on their teams, because all the guys, they say that the guys have bigger egos. They'll argue with them. They say they don't have that problem with the women. Do you find that with personal training?
Well, like I said, so I have an even split of clients, male and female. And in terms of just personal training, I would say no difference.
Yeah.
But in terms of powerlifting coaching, I would say in general, women are easier to train and coach in the gym compared to men. And
Everyone says that.
yeah, but I would say men are easier to coach at a competition compared to women.
Why is that? They're less nervous?
It seems like men have a very short memory. So if they miss a lift, they get pissed off and then it's gone. They're on to the next thing.
Yeah.
And in my experience, it seems like women hang on to it a little bit longer. Like I said, that's just my experience. I don't know if it's true or not, but
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. What's more thrilling, winning in a competition or having one of your athletes win?
I was actually talking to one of my lifters, I think last week, about this upcoming competition, and I think I was telling him I kind of feel relieved, right, that I'm just going there to coach, because a full day of powerlifting, especially in 100% raw meat, it's a full day. I mean, you're probably going to be there 10 hours, right? So I'm kind of glad that I don't have to do it this time, and I'm just coaching, and I'm excited. This is probably like my first time that I'm just like purely coaching people, right? I'll be doing the strict curl portion the day before, but yeah. So this will be the first time, but it's great when you accomplish something yourself, and it's great when somebody else you coach accomplishes something. So we'll see what comes this next Saturday or whatever it is with all my lifters.
All right, big question. What's your view on steroids?
My view on steroids. I don't care if people take steroids. My thing is, if you are taking steroids and you're trying to promote maybe your own program, if you're a trainer, or in the fitness industry, right? And you're trying to promote your own program that you do that is going to transform this person and look like them, I think you have to be transparent about everything.
Yeah.
Right. And in terms of steroids within powerlifting, me and the Curling Avengers, we did an untested curl meet out in California, probably 3 years ago. It was untested. We don't take anything. Who knows if anybody was taking anything, so I really don't care.
I mean, one of the biggest problems I would have is that I know for a fact that if like it wasn't so many people in the sport of powerlifting using steroids, that would be one more step towards being in the Olympics.
Well, I mean, we all know about the Olympics and steroids anyway.
Yeah. But here's the thing. It's even though there might be a higher percentage of track runners using illegal drugs, the sport, it's viewed as a steroid sport. And that's,
Yeah, I mean, I can see that.
you know, like I've spoken to, like, you know, administrators from the Olympics, you know, that's, when they hear powerlifting, that's the way they look at the sport. And it's also fragmented. You know, there's not one powerlifting organization. That's
Oh, sure. I think that's the biggest issue is, you know, nobody can get together on things. And there's so many different federations and ways to do it, you know, geared, not geared, you know, we're all with wraps, all that stuff. And there's just no consistency across the board.
yeah, there's basically like 6 different sports within the, you know what I mean? Because
Yeah,
you know, like raw classic, you know, single ply, 800 ply, tested,
sure.
untested. You want, basically, the way people look at it outside, that's like 8 different sports.
Right. But, you know, and another thing is like, I don't think it'll ever make the Olympics just because it's boring as hell to watch. You know what?
Olympic lifting.
Olympic lifting is exciting because it's fast, right? It's fast.
Yes.
But you know what person that's not into powerlifting would just flip on the TV and watch powerlifting? I don't think many people would, you know.
Come on. I think really, in reality, the only real lifting sport that's exciting to watch maybe is strongman competitions. That
Yeah.
should be,
Yeah.
that's what my personal view. I think
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
right. I mean, they do a lot of different wild lifts and things that kind of keep people's attention, you know.
Are you lifting in pounds or kilos in your gym?
Well, mainly pounds. I do have a set of bumper plates that are kilos.
Throw those out.
Throw them out.
Throw them out.
Shoot, I could probably sell them now for a lot of money. But no, I mean, I think it is good to have them around because it kind of keeps your mental edge when you're at a competition. So you kind of quickly add things up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mainly use pounds.
Yeah, I'm all in pounds. I just have a clipboard with the kilo conversion chart. I remember
Right.
when we started lifting in, me and my wife, in the, my wife went to a USAPL meet. No, she went to an ADAU meet first. Remember the ADAU?
No.
That's the Anti-Drug Athletes United. They
Were they associated with 100% Raw?
Yeah.
Okay.
They were around way before 100% Raw. They were, I don't know if they're the first Raw organization, but they, I mean, me and my wife started lifting in 2001. I started lifting in 2002. And she went to an ADU meet first, then we went to a USAPL meet, then we just started lifting in 100% Raw because we had a team of 30 people and most of them couldn't afford equipment.
Yeah.
You know, they couldn't afford the squat suits and stuff like that. So,
right.
You know, we just stuck with the ADAU. And eventually the guy who started that, you know, Jay Siegel?
No, I do not.
He's always running the meets out in Bigler in the middle of Pennsylvania.
Okay.
And his father started the ADAU. And once he passed away, it kind of dissolved. There was another guy, Joe Arengia.
Mm-hmm.
He was a big bodybuilder in powerlifting. He would run a lot of meets out in Erie, Pennsylvania, ADAU meets, and it just kind of went away after Al Siegel died, and 100% Raw took it over.
Okay.
But now, yeah, so I mean, really, the only ADAU part of it now is just that meet that Jay Siegel keeps going on. He does one in the summer and one in the winter for, you know.
Well, I remember seeing that there's ADAU in one of the 100% Raw medals that I have.
Yeah, that's where it comes from.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't think the 100% Raw was around in 2001.
Yeah.
You train abs? Big question.
Do I train abs?
Of course.
Direct training?
Let's call it core. Yeah, do you train your core?
Well, I mean, that's kind of a two-part question. So yes, because I squat and deadlift, you know,
Yeah,
and then
that's a good answer.
strict curl, I'll tell you, that'll work some abs. That'll work your core, you know, standing curls. Direct ab training, I do a lot of standing ab stuff, but
Standing?
you know, yeah, standing abs on a cable.
How do
You never seen that?
No.
How do you do it?
Standing abs?
Yeah.
Just standing up and doing what?
Yeah, you stand up and you grab the cable and you pull it right here and you do like crunches.
Yeah. I do those kneeling. I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. So I do a lot of that.
Yeah. My wife keeps trying to get me to do stuff with her. She does all sorts of things, planks and all this stuff.
Yeah.
It's torture.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, the one thing that she does that I need to work on is when she lies on the floor to do all this stuff, when she like rotates her hip, you know,
Yeah.
I don't know, you're a CSCS guy. What is that?
Rotates her hip.
Yeah,
Was she doing abduction?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean hip abduction stuff's good.
I need to work on that because I have a problem with my hips rotate. I get posterior rotation.
Okay, so you get a butt wink. That's what you're talking about. So when you squat, you get a butt wink.
I have it, yeah, just when I walk, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I've been doing that. Well, I guess my quads are very tight compared to my hamstrings, so I try and strengthen my quads.
Yeah.
You're the expert in this. What do I got to do?
Is it working?
Stretching the quads. It does help. Yeah, like when I walk, right. Like normally I feel like my right the posterior like tilt like that, and when I stretch my quads, it does relax it.
So you have a posterior pelvic tilt or an anterior pelvic tilt?
I just it's backwards like that.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So I mean, that's definitely something you can fix. You know, can you stand up and fix it? Pull your abs in and squeeze your butt, and it should pop your hips underneath you.
Yeah.
Right. So I mean, it's things like that you got to do.
Just hold it 30 seconds for a couple reps.
Yeah, I mean, you can try. You know, you can strengthen your abs, see if that works. Maybe strengthen hip flexors, strengthen glutes, things like that.
What's your view in the squat, right? I know a lot of big squatters. Well, Ed Cohn has this whole point your taint towards the back of the gym.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Well, I know some good squatters that they stand up like real tight, like real straight, like almost do like you were talking about, like this, everything's super straight. And they come down and with beautiful squats without doing this whole, but I guess a lot of them aren't doing like the super low bar squat.
Right. So it all depends on on the person. It all depends on your technique. You know, a lot has to do with your levers. So if you're doing a low bar squat, you're going to be sitting back more.
Yeah.
Right. You're going to be putting the load in your hips and not in your knees. So if you're doing a high bar squat, you're going to have your knees coming forward a lot. Right. So the load is going to be in those quads a little bit more. Yeah. So it all depends. It all depends on which technique you're trying to achieve. When you're sitting back in that bar, I mean, that's when you want to open your taint. You know, you really open those hips up, sit back into it.
Yeah, that's why I like when guys have like a one size fits all fix like that, like the taint towards the wall. Like I know Ed Cohn's like he's a great squatter, but I mean like you can't. Like my wife's 100 pounds. Literally, no, she's 103 pounds. She can't squat with the bar low. She squats with a very high bar.
Yeah.
She has an amazing squat. So, I mean, like, and she's a great lifter. I mean, she's always winning best female. And I'm like, I don't know. Should she change it? Should she go lower? I mean, she has it, you know, she's 200.
Well, it's just like we were talking about the inside outside grip with the strict curl, right? If it doesn't work for her, I mean, it might be something good to do, but not switch to competitively, right? It might be a good, like, you know, alternative type squat to do just within training. Yeah. But still stick with the way she squats for competitions. I mean, it would definitely strengthen other things rather than her higher bar squat.
Yeah, and her back is straight and tight. And my back, I got to go with a low bar squat, like as low as I can get it to try and keep my back from rounding and keep it tight. You know?
Yeah.
We have totally great squat forms.
Right. I mean, yeah.
So you said you lifted equipped once, right?
Yeah, well, in a competition once. But you know, obviously trained with it a bunch of times.
Yeah. You don't like it?
But that stuff, man, I mean, it's no joke. It's no joke, and it takes a lot of time.
Yeah.
You know, that's why I think raw lifting, you know, like single ply stuff used to be extremely popular, right?
Yeah.
But raw lifting recently has taken off
Yeah.
because it's easier to do,
Yeah.
right? You don't have to squeeze into a suit. You don't need a bunch of people around you helping you out. You know, you don't need people peeling you out of the suit. And, you know, geared lifting is extremely difficult. People think it's easier, but it's extremely difficult.
It's
I
almost
mean, for a couple reasons, right? Because
it's almost
yeah, I mean, the loads you're moving, yeah, the loads you're moving, and how time consuming it is, and it's just a whole different thing.
yeah. Well, okay. All right. So that'll lead me into another question. I'll come back. Why do you hate CrossFit?
Why do I hate CrossFit? I don't hate CrossFit. No, man, I don't hate CrossFit. Who told you that?
I say that to everyone.
Yeah. No, I mean, I mean, CrossFit's fine if that's what you want to do. I think CrossFit gets a bad rap just because, you know, I mean, some of the movements they do, form can break down because everything's kind of timed, and you know, form's gonna break down, right? So for your average person, it might not be appropriate.
Right. That's the key. For your average person, it's not appropriate. And
Yeah,
for some reason, CrossFit has an appeal to the average person. And I think that's why powerlifting in general has had so many people within, I would say, I spoke to so many people, and it seems like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, they started. It's very recent. There's a lot of new people coming in, and they were all previously like into CrossFit.
oh yeah, I've definitely had a bunch of people like that come through who used to do CrossFit, and a lot of them got hurt doing CrossFit, and they want to know how to learn to do things correctly.
And not only you, like your side of it, right? Because you're specifically, squat, bench, deadlift, strict curl. But on the other side, I know some uh, Olympic lifters who have weightlifting gyms. They same thing. They're getting people from CrossFit in.
Oh, sure. Yeah. I mean, that's learning how to do an Olympic lift is extremely difficult.
Yeah, and basically, I mean, really, I've talked to some of these coaches, of these guys that own weightlifting gyms. I mean, solely weightlifting gyms, and that sport would be done for if it wasn't for CrossFit.
You think so?
Yeah, that sport was on the verge of like almost ending in this country, at least, because it's not funded like in other
Oh
countries.
yeah, sure. Yeah. I mean, this country, it's definitely, you know, on the back burner. Not a lot of people care about it too much.
Uh, how has lifting gotten you through life's tough moments?
Um, I mean, you know, like I said, I've been lifting since I was 14. It's been a part of my life ever since then. And I'm a really routine oriented guy.
You got to be.
So it's been in my routine my entire life. And it's definitely, it helps you blow off steam, right?
Yeah.
And for me, when I'm feeling stressed out, it definitely helps. It's the only thing for me that can get rid of any anxiety or anything like that. You know, so
I don't know anyone who's a serious lifter who someone who competes. I wouldn't say serious in the fact that they break records. I mean, someone who's they're looking to beat themselves, who is a screw up at work. You know what I mean? Who just doesn't show up. Who just what I mean? They don't. If you're a
yeah.
lifter, you just don't have that inside of you. That's my point.
Right. I mean, right. I mean, it's discipline. I mean, it takes a lot of discipline to get to a gym every single day,
Yeah.
you know? So you'd think that discipline would trickle down into other portions of your life.
What's one thing you wish you knew when you started lifting?
Oh, I wish I had someone like me to teach me how to do it. And that's what, so like I said, I trained this kid, 16-year-old kid, and I've told him that, you know, I told him, I was like, this is very valuable stuff, right? If I was your age and had somebody to teach me how to do these things correctly, I probably wouldn't have had some of the injuries that I had. I definitely would have done some of the dumb stuff that I've done, you know. The best I had was probably gym teacher in high school that he didn't know anything. So it's like, yeah, I just wish I had somebody that had the knowledge of lifting.
Yeah. If I could go back, I would tell myself, deadlifting like you look like you're unraveling a fruit roll up. Don't do that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Don't let the numbers, get ahead of other things. A lot of people get hypnotized by the weight on the bar, right?
Yeah.
And they don't give a shit about anything else. It's just if that goes up.
Yeah.
So I've definitely been there, done that. But
So what? Right, you're married to someone. Does she compete in powerlifting?
Yeah, she did. She used to compete in 100% raw. I think her last meet was that 2018 Worlds, I think, with 100% raw and world powerlifting combined. I think she came in 4th place, and ahead of her were 3 Australian women. So I was pretty happy with her performance.
Are you able to take advice from her?
Sure. Oh yeah.
All right.
Definitely.
Yeah. When we're done with this,
Most recently. What's that?
So when we're done with this, you're gonna have to teach me how to do that.
All right. No, most recently she was been getting on me about some strict curl stuff, and I added it into my program. So.
Yeah. No, I've gotten better. I mean, years ago, the biggest example of like she was pregnant. I'm down here squatting. She's like, that's a little high. I'm like, I know what depth is. Don't tell me what I know what I'm
Sure. Oh yeah.
And guess what I did? I bombed out of that meet.
Yeah. Well, did you learn your lesson then?
No, it took me kind of like recently to kind of look back and learn. It took me a long time.
Well, I mean, it's definitely important to have people call you on your shit. You need to have people around you that are gonna tell you you're doing something stupid or wrong.
Yeah, I think some homeless person could have walked by and said, "Yo, that's high," and I would have been like, "Okay, thanks. I need to get deeper."
So it's just your wife, huh?
Yeah, yeah. I think we've gotten past that.
Yeah.
So now, in the course of your lifting, right? Have you ever had any, the nosebleeds, the eyes bleeding, like the crapping yourself when you're deadlifting?
No nosebleeds. When I did geared lifting, I would always bust blood vessels all over my face, all over my body, stuff like that.
On your body?
I did. Yeah, it's all on my face. Would just be like, it looked like pimples, just because the pressure is just crazy. I think back in 2000 and maybe 16 or 17, the Psych Out Challenge in Sykesville, Maryland. I did something that I knew I shouldn't have done. You never want to do anything new, eat anything new, drink anything new before a meet. But I woke up at 4 a.m. to go drive to this meet. So I was like, I have a good idea. Let me get a 5-hour energy drink, right? Bad mistake.
Just one?
So just one, right? But I don't drink that stuff, right? Yeah. But so I drank it, and then I drank my pre-workout, and instantly just bubble guts, right? The whole time warming up. I think I probably had to run to the bathroom probably 8 to 15 times from warming up to squats to the beginning of deadlifts, right? So deadlifts come around, and I was having a pretty good meet, right? I was having a great meet. I was in the lead for best overall lifter, right? Deadlifts come around, and I'm like, all right, I'm feeling better. I got it all in my system. First deadlift goes up, no problem. Second deadlift goes up, no problem. Third deadlift, right? I think it was 633 pounds or whatever, something like that. I get it about right below my knee, and something comes out, right? A little poop in the pants, right? But it happened. Deadlift still came all the way up. They gave me the down command, and I went to put it down, and I definitely dropped it about this far from the ground because I couldn't bend over anymore. They gave me they gave me white lights. I got the lift, right? And there I go waddling off the platform. And I think, who was it? I think it was Matt Gary. If you know who Matt Gary is, he was standing there. He says, "Nice lift." And, and I'm like running the bath. I said, "Thanks, man. I just shit my pants." So yeah, so that's my shit my pants story.
Yeah. It seems like every time I hit a PR in my deadlift, I have that problem.
Yeah, man. I mean, it happens.
I've gotten better with it now. When I'm going for a heavy lift, I'm taking a lot of pre-workout. I take Imodium with my pre-workout.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, you want to hear a funny pre-workout story?
What's that?
So, right before a competition, I'm taking 4 scoops, right, pre-workout, right, which is four, yeah, way too much.
Yeah.
So now I'm at I go to a competition, right, and I just it's like three lifts. It's like 3 different days of training. So I'm like, you know what? I make a big one, like 12 scoops, and so I'm like, I take like a third of it before the squat, a third of it before the bench, a third of it before the deadlift. I was pretty good up until about the third deadlift, and I started to look like a lobster, like purple.
Does that beta alanine get to you?
I don't know what it was, but my wife is looking at me. She's like, "What's wrong with you?" I'm like, "I'm fine. Don't worry about it." She didn't even know I took that much pre-workout, but like months later, she's like,
So did you get that last deadlift?
"Oh man, no, probably. I would say no because I usually don't get my third deadlift."
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna guess I
You
did.
didn't pass out though, did you?
No, I've passed out. I passed out in Virginia Beach once.
Did you?
Yeah, on my third, and I was so mad because I was literally almost like this close to standing up and blacked out. But that's from the medication. I think that's after I started taking the lithium or something. I'm on a lot of different medications, and I had never had a problem passing out until I started taking all this medication.
Yeah.
So.
The only lift that actually kind of makes me pass out is power curls. And I've almost passed out a few times in competition doing power curls.
What's that?
So power curl, it's a standing curl. It's a standing curl, and you initiate the curl, and once you initiate the curl, you can lean back, right? You can lean back and curl it up.
Okay.
But you can't lean forward after you start leaning back to meet the curl. So USA Power Curl, they're putting on a bunch of meets at the last few years. And me, Max, and Coop, we were doing it, and I actually put on a super total curl meet. I think a year and a half ago or something like that. Put it on at this old gym I used to work at, and that's actually why I built this platform. I built the platform for that super total meet. So it was I think it was 4 strict curl attempts and 4 power curl attempts, and then you get your total from your best lifts of each one. So that was a lot of fun.
Can you bend your knees?
No, you gotta have your knees locked out.
You're locked out.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, this guy Pete Miller, you know him?
Yeah, I know Pete.
He said he went to a curl competition once, and I guess they didn't have a rule like that. And he's an Olympic lifter, and I mean, he basically did like a reverse clean, I guess.
Yeah.
And everybody was like, "What the heck?" And he was like, "Yeah, it was passable. That's what that was."
Well, right. Yeah. I mean, like, that's why it's important to know the rules. So if it's within the rules, nobody can bitch about it, right?
Yeah, that's why I was asking about the knees. Yeah, but rules are important. That's why, I talked to Ed Cooten. He's Ed Cooten. He's the head of the rules.
Right.
head and for 100% raw, and we were talking about the overhead press.
I saw that thread on Facebook. Man, people were blowing up about that, weren't they?
Yeah, I mean, Ed. Ed's problem with it, he's like, it's very hard to write rules for it. That's
Right.
that's his issue with it, but I think he could figure something out.
I mean, he could definitely figure something out. I mean, but what did he say? He doesn't want any more token lifts, right? And that was kind of a token lift.
He didn't want to say that. He did not look like he was a fan of having to
Right.
of it, and he was just like, "Oh, you can't write rules for it."
Well, I mean, tell you the truth, I mean, people that are going to be doing like strictly powerlifting are probably going to go to USAPL or USPA, right? They're not really going to go to 100% raw. Why do you go to 100% raw? For strict curls, right?
Yeah.
And maybe if you add overhead press, you get a few more members.
Well, yeah. I mean, USPL is, I think they're strict on drug testing. I mean, when we were in the ADAU, I mean, it was the Anti-Drug Athletes United. It was people that were crazy anti-steroids,
Yeah.
I mean, people in the ADAU did not have like the view that you had. Like the view was people on steroids are the devil. We're all lifting here.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I mean, I'm a, like I said, people can do what they want. I don't care.
People that I talk to have your opinion. Really.
Yeah.
Most people. Well, when we were in the ADAU, I mean, it was like we're raw. Everyone else is not really lifting because they're wearing, suits, and everyone else, the people that are doing drugs are evil. That was basically the mindset.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that your mindset?
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not anymore?
It's evolved a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, with steroids, I mean, maybe like if you're older and, it's your steroid, like sexually you're not doing well, and
well, I mean, so that's a different term. Then that's testosterone replacement therapy, right?
Yeah. So I don't think I have a problem with that. My wife does. My wife's got a problem with that. Like, she don't want me doing that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not, but like I was just, I'm tossing the idea around, just going to the doctor and stuff like that. She's just like pissed that I even like brought it up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But so yeah, that was like, that's really the only like acceptable. Well, maybe I could see like if you're a professional sports player and like that's your business and like you can't do your business without it. But like if you're not making money from it, like I don't see. But
yeah, I mean, yeah, you hit it on the head right there.
Yeah, but I have friends like Pat Susko. Like, Pat Susko?
I think I saw him online somewhere.
I mean, I think he's the best squatter ever. I mean, really. He squatted almost 1,000 pounds back in '91. I mean, he's not as big of a guy as Ed Cohn, and I just happened to know him because he lived in my neighborhood. And super nice guy. He'd let me work in with him, even though he would have to take 9 plates off the bar and and load like 185 for me.
Yeah.
But I asked him about his view on steroids. He's like, steroids are awesome. Everyone should be doing them. Dude. That's his view. It's like steroids are great. He was like, how the hell do you think I would have been able to squat that much? And he was like, I'm doing it now. I'm 7 years old. I look awesome.
Right. I mean, like it blows my mind how many people abuse steroids that, like you said, there's no what's the outcome, right? So you look at baseball, or you look at sports or whatever like that. You're taking steroids to get better at your sport. You're taking steroids to get that $100 million contract, right? Say you're taking steroids to get better at powerlifting, a hobby that isn't going to pay you shit. So it's like you're doing it, I guess, for your own ego. I don't know, but
yeah.
Whatever. And like I said, people want to do what they want to do. I don't care.
So, how old are you?
How old am I? I'm 35 years old.
So you're younger than me.
Yeah, so I just made it into the Masters National, so I'm a submaster. I think I'll be the youngest lifter there.
So you're a young guy. So I know what your answer is going to be. What's your stance on mirrors and music in the gym?
On mirrors and music.
Yeah.
Well, at KPC, we have a little square of probably 5 foot by 10 foot mirror.
Okay.
And, music, I don't care what's on really. And it's kind of an ongoing issue here. A lot of my friends, I'll listen to country music, right? Music for me doesn't help or hurt my lifting, right? It's for me, it's all up here. So they always kind of bitch at me that I always listen to the same thing, right? So for me, I don't care what's on. I worked at a gym for 11 years, listening to the same crappy music the whole time. So
Yeah, if you talk to guys that are like over 60 years old, I would say guys that were lifting, in the early, basically, well, I know from 1960s really to the late 80s. You talk to guys that were like really that started lifting in that generation. They hate music in the gym. They hate mirrors. They hate it.
yeah,
Crazy. It makes their blood boil because I guess
yeah,
it wasn't a thing back then. There was no.
yeah. I don't like TVs. I don't want TVs in a gym.
Yeah.
No TVs. I think it's worthless to have a TV.
Yeah. I think it's really funny to talk to all the guys about that. You even mention music in the gym that they just go up on a rant.
No music.
I don't like when I don't like music when I'm doing my heavy set.
Yeah.
Because unless they're going to be playing that music when I'm at the competition, I don't want it on. Because
Sure.
we never trained with music ever. And then we bought a house, and we had our own gym, and I'm playing music loud. I go to a competition, and I was just totally messed up. That there was no sound when I was under the bar. I felt like I was on the moon, and it totally messed me up.
Right.
So now,
yeah, I mean, it's definitely for competitions. It's important to, change the variables, right? So you can kind of be ready for anything. I think I had a client a couple weeks ago, and she pulled a big time deadlift with basically zero motivating external factors, right? So it's like you can do that with nothing firing you up, then you're gonna be able to do it in a competition, no problem.
there was this guy on our team, like I guess we go back like 1978 when our coach in college started the team, and he had this guy they were working with in the sets, like 1979, I think they were doing this to him. He had a hard time at meets focusing. So while they were training, they would turn the lights on and off at him, and they would throw stuff at him while he was squatting.
Did it work?
Yeah, it worked.
Well, there you go. Yeah.
He's actually going to be. Well, he called me up out of the blue. He's like, Mike, I'm lifting at a gym in New Hampshire. They want to put on a powerlifting meet. I said, well, okay, I was like, I'll see what I can do for you. He's like, well, I don't know. What do you think I should do? I said, well, maybe you could do a non-sanctioned meet, just do something yourself. At first, I was like, let me get in touch with somebody. So I get in touch with Paul Bassi.
Yeah.
Head of 100% Raw. I tell him about my buddy up in New Hampshire. He's super excited because they used to have a New Hampshire state chairman, and now they don't. They have no meets in New Hampshire. So he's like, now Paul Bassi is going to bring all the equipment up there. I think just June 12th. They're going to have a meet up there. Now, all of a sudden, he's now he's the New Hampshire chairman, and it's great. Yeah, that was the guy that they turned the lights on and off on and through stuff.
Okay. All right. So that's cool.
Are you going to host a curl meet?
Am I going to host a curl meet? I would like to. I mean, right now it's the COVID thing. It's the monkey wrench and everything. I would definitely love to host a curl meet, either a strict curl meet or a power curl meet, or another super total. I have the space, I have the platform, I have the equipment, I got everything. So maybe, what's that?
Where's your gym?
Silver Spring, Maryland.
Okay.
Yeah. So, it would be great. Just as long as, the COVID's not a factor.
Have you been to a competition that's only a curl competition?
Oh yeah.
Is it
Yeah.
weird
Yeah.
to go too fast?
No, it's great. I mean, like I said, the USA Power Curl, I probably did 4 or 5 competitions with them. And that's the great thing about it. Like each lift is so quick, right? Like you go to powerlifting and it takes forever.
Yeah.
It's extremely boring. So curls, curls like that, no problem. It's fast and you can fly through a meet in a few hours.
I think if I drove down to Maryland for a curl meet, I'd want like 9 attempts.
No, well, so that's what the super total, right? Like I was saying, the super total, you got 4 strict curl attempts and you got 4 power curl attempts.
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
Yeah. So there's a lot more meat on the bone rather than just doing 3 attempts and that's it. So you got 8 attempts.
Told your total within one thing.
Yeah.
It's really interesting.
It was a lot of fun.
I didn't know that was a thing.
That was I mean, it wasn't until that meet.
So that's wow. So you would you could even do that. I mean, for any lift really. So I mean, if it was the squat or curl, so like you couldn't just do like a super light first attempt just to make sure you're in it because you want to make sure your total's up. But I guess
well, no. So it's not a total of everything. It's your best one plus your best one.
Is it the highest of all your attempts?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it would be exciting to total up all 4.
Yeah, I mean that would be a different look at things, right?
Try and see, yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna be the first one to do that. That's my idea.
Yeah, that'd be neat because you probably see a lot of guys, get worn out after a while. You
using creatine with your pre-workout?
Yeah,
Helps.
Pre-workout. I make my own pre-workout. I don't like the pre-mixed pre-workout stuff. Just because I don't do a ton of caffeine and I just use probably 4 ingredients and that's it. And who knows? I mean, maybe it's doing something, maybe it's not. I don't know.
That sounds pretty lame. Do you remember Jack 3D?
Yes, I remember that. I took it for a little while.
It's heaven.
I think I took it once and it made me feel like I was going crazy, so I never took it again.
Let me tell you, my wife hated when I took that stuff because I would finish lifting and I would come upstairs like a caveman. I'd pick her up and just drag her.
Well, dude, it was so close to meth, right? Or something like that.
I never took meth, but let me tell you, if that's what meth is like, it would be, well, no, I do know, I'm not going to out him, but I know it's a great squatter. I know a great lifter who would use meth before he lifted.
Damn.
Mm-hmm.
That's a slippery slope right there, isn't it?
This is a long time ago. This is like the 90s. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's I guess amphetamines, right? I mean, there's that baseball player recently who got caught with 25 pounds of meth in his team bag at spring training.
It's gonna help you train, believe me. Well, let me tell you, there was a point where when I was on the NYPD where they didn't test for steroids. They didn't care.
Yeah.
They tested you for illegal drugs and stuff like that, but they didn't steroids. They never tested for that. yeah, guys were just huge. And what happened was some captain got caught like in this buying steroids illegally. It's this whole big thing, and then all of a sudden they were like, "Yo, we're starting testing for steroids. Just letting you know,
Yeah.
wink, wink." And let me tell you, the muscle mass of the entire NYPD must have shrunk by like 20 or 30%. It was
Oh yeah, I
incredible.
bet.
Guys come down. Just it was like I was like, I knew you were on steroids. I knew you
Yeah.
were on steroids. I knew you were on steroids. Oh, you guys have well, I mean, a lot of guys use chains and bands and stuff like that, right? Like, what? How do you feel about it with the strict curl?
So chains. Chains are kind of tricky. I don't know. The issue with chains is you got to make sure you keep them on the ground.
Yeah, yeah.
If you curl it and they're swinging around, it can really mess up your movement pattern, right? So use chains. Make sure you have some of it on the ground, and that's just like any other lift. Some's got to stay on the ground. I love bands for strict curl. I think it's great. Bands are awesome for strict curl. They work for me. They work awesome. I pretty much use bands. I think every other week I've been doing.
Yeah, I've been overdoing it, but that's the way I always do lifting.
Well, I mean, so bands, like for me, I want bands. I want it to be kind of fast, right? I mean, that's what you do. So it's the speed.
Yeah, I don't do the chains with the curls because my setup with my chains are too heavy. Like I just have two stacks of like 50 pounds of chain.
Oh yeah. I got two stacks of 12-pounders. So for
Yeah,
curls, it's perfect.
yeah. So I just been doing the bands. But I love chains on my squat and the bench, the deadlift.
Yeah.
I love chains on it. Number one, you look super cool on Instagram.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I've definitely had success with bands on squat and deadlift, and not so much on bench.
Well, I changed the way I do my. Well, I use bands and chains at the same time, and I used to take it out of the rack, but now I've gotten to the point where it's so heavy unracking, it's hurting my shoulders. You
Oh
know,
yeah.
so I'm just doing it. I'm just pressing it from the bottom.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I got the rack basically where it's like I slide under it, pick my chest up, the bar's like on my chest, and I'm pressing from the bottom because it's too much for me to handle on the top.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if it's hurting your shoulder on the unrack, I mean, you might want to reevaluate how you're unracking, right? Are your shoulders tight enough? Are you close underneath that bar? You're not bringing it too far, from over your head? That's a problem. People are too far from the bar and they have to reach way back, right? You want to make it so, the bar's like here and you're just poop up and out.
Yeah, I mean that's where I am. I mean I have no problem benching,
Yeah.
that way. It's just when you, I mean, at the top it's so much more heavy than I could lift from. You know what I mean? From
Oh yeah.
bottom.
Right.
It's all like I don't know how much weight it is on top with the bands and the chain.
You don't know?
Well, band weight. I don't know. I don't know how much because you
Get yourself a fish scale.
No, that's a good idea.
Easy. Fish scale's $10. You can measure all your bands.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, I have no idea. But all I know is that chains are the weight from the chains go up gradually, right, at the same time. But the chains go up like this on a graph. But the bands seem like at the bottom, either here, and then all of a sudden the middle, and then at the top, it's extremely heavy. You know what I mean? They kick in like towards the end, I think, a lot.
Yeah. I mean, I guess, it depends on how far you stretch them, right?
I don't know. That's just how it feels like in my head. It just feels like,
Yeah.
it's like that last 10% on the bands is always just like, seems extremely hard. Like if I was just to do chains, the chains seem like just a steady progression away to me.
Right.
In my head.
Yeah.
Like I said, I gotta, like you said, do the fish scale thing and check it out.
Yeah, man, you got to figure out what you're pressing.
Yeah. So, what's your long-term goal for your gym?
Oh man. My long-term goal for this place, I mean, I would like to get a bunch more trainers working here. I would like to maybe expand, maybe open another location. I would like to step back a little bit from me training people. You know, I've been training people since 2008. You know, training sometimes upwards of 170 hours a month, right? And as far as training people goes, training 170 hours is a lot. You know, might not be a lot for a desk job, but you know, people at a desk job, they work not 8-hour day, and the only time, you know, the amount of time that they're actually working might be like 3 to 4 hours. If you're a trainer and you're working an 8-hour day, you got to be on, right? You got to be on, you got to be active, you got to be talking to people, you got to be moving weight around, right? So it's a lot of work. So I would like to, you know, try to ease up on that eventually if I can. Yeah, just try to grow. I mean, right now it's great, having fun. I got a great client base, you know, so I'd like to go with that.
That's awesome. Thanks. Thanks so much for doing this with me. I mean, you're like.
Is that it?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I don't have any other questions.
All right.
Any questions?
I can ask you questions.
Yeah.
Um,
Don't ask me about how much I lift because it's not much. And
I was about to.
I don't answer those questions.
No. Well, where do you live? You live in New York still?
Yeah, I'm an hour from New York City. Yeah, Orange County.
Okay.
But well, I just put my 106-pound curl up on Instagram the other day. No, my strict curl. I think my best strict curl in the meet is 110.
What do you weigh?
180.
Well, if you want a good strict curl coach, I know one.
You.
Yeah.
All right. Well, look at my last curl. It's outside grip. Let me know.
All right. I'll pick it apart. And I have so on our Curling Avengers page, I think I have the only strict curl technique video I made probably 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And you know, go check that out.
Yeah.
And it is when I was doing outside grip.
Yeah.
Right. So I think part of your problem is, and a lot of people's problem with strict curl is they look at it as a curl.
Yeah.
Right. You can't look at it as a curl. If you look at it as a curl, you're going to be limited in what you can curl, unless you know you're some extremely strong guy, you know, on tons of steroids and stuff like that. Then you can curl like this with long lever arms.
Yeah.
But if you want to increase your strict curl, you need to keep it close to your body. Like that's one of the biggest things. You got to keep that bar close. You got to keep your lever arms short. Because if you're out here, you're done. You got to keep it super close to you.
I think I see a lot when like it gets heavy. Like when I look at a video of myself doing the curl, I tuck my elbows in.
Right. So like so simple technique for a strict curl, and this is for outside and inside grip.
Yeah.
Right. You want to pull up, flare your elbows, and then you want to jump under it. You want to pull up with your traps. Pull up with your traps, flare your elbows. And then when you get to the point where you want to get under, drop your shoulders, squeeze your elbows in.
Hold on. Wait. This is the bar I use, but it's all Christmas lighted up. Hold on. Let me grab another one. All right. It's all right. So you're saying,
yeah,
you come out? Like,
yep. You pull up higher, pull up higher. And now when you're here, you drop your shoulders underneath, drop your shoulders.
Shit.
Get your shoulders out of your ears, drop them down, and then squeeze your elbows and pull your hands towards you. And it shoots right in.
Oh, I see. It'll just rocks back.
Goes right in.
Okay, hold on. So that.
Yep.
Rock it back.
Yep.
Oh shit! You really know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I do.
right, I'm gonna have to replay that.
It takes a lot of practice, right? So that's why, a lot of people curl like it's just a regular curl, because it's a simpler way of doing things, right? But it's extremely limited. So if you want to increase your curl, obviously get stronger, but you have to improve your technique, and you have to implement that and keep that bar super close to you. Because if those lever arms come out, you're screwed.
I can't believe how that felt, that rocking motion. That's crazy.
And then I would definitely recommend you play with that inside grip with that technique.
All right.
It's you pull up, boom, and you're right there. And it's speed. Everything has to do with speed.
I see.
Right?
You're crazy fast. I mean, to the point where I think like it's almost like, is he just messing around? Like,
no, man, that's one of the things I've been practicing a lot, is its speed, especially from the bottom. From the bottom, you want to generate as much power as you can.
Yeah.
Right? To help you in the rest of the lift. You want to create that upward momentum, right? So you got to explode. And that's something I've learned from Max, right? So Max, he used to do like CrossFit and Olympic lifting stuff, right? And that's why he was so good at it. That's why he's so good at curls, because he has that explosion. He can fire it up from the bottom.
The whole elbow out thing is blowing my mind.
It keeps it close. It allows you to keep it close to your body.
Blowing my mind, because you know where I'm coming in. I'm like my
right.
elbows.
Yeah.
I'm in like,
you're just doing a regular lever. Yeah.
Yeah. And but you know what? I'm changing the order in which I lift, because I've been strict curling the day after my deadlift, and I don't think that's a good idea, because my forearms are very sore.
Just strap up for deadlifts then.
I'm just gonna start off my week strict curling. I'm just gonna do that.
Do you strict curl once a week or twice a week?
Once.
Bump it up to twice and have a one heavy day and one light day. And do you do any other arm accessory stuff?
No, I usually just do like I don't know. I'll do warm up to my heavy set, and then I'll do my set with my bands, and then I'll do like maybe like 4 other sets of straight curl.
Do you do any forearm stuff?
No.
You need to do forearm stuff. You need to do different types of curls, right? And like I was saying, you got to treat it. You got to treat it. If you want to get better at it, you have to treat it like it's any other big lift you're trying to get better at. You can't treat it like it's just some other thing and expect to get better.
Yeah, right. Like, because you don't just squat and that's it. So
yeah,
it does make sense.
You got to do other things for it.
What else is useful for it? I mean, what do I do? I just
any supinated back exercise. You can do chin-ups, you can do supinated pull downs, supinated rows, anything like that. Those are great. Okay. Right? You can do supinated seated rows, supinated barbell rows, all that stuff. One of my favorite things to do to help the strict curl is a snatch grip high pull, right? So that helps you with that explosion up, right?
That's getting real technical, huh? Yeah.
I mean, no. I mean, I used to do like power snatches, and that's a little more technical, right? But if you just to simplify it to the snatch grip high pull, it makes it pretty easy for a lot of people to do it. And you got to hit those forearms, man. Hit them once or twice a week. And just any type of seated curls, preacher curls, barbell curls, hammer curls, spider curls. You got to add a few of those in too.
Funny talking about forearms. I was just talking to an arm wrestler, professional arm wrestler, and he trains forearms every day. And I'm like, don't you get any injuries from that? He's like, no. He was like, it's like doing abs. He was like, forearms, abs, and calves are the 3 muscles that you never overtrain.
Oh, sure. Yeah. I mean, obviously you're not going to train them heavy every day, but it's just like, yeah, I mean, just like anything else. I mean, you can change the intensity level on it and train them every day.
Yeah. But, all right. Forearm work. Well, I mean, rows I do rows. But I mean, just with the dumbbell. Are you doing anything with dumbbells?
Yeah, I'll do croc rows, any like dumbbell rows, something like that, I've been really liking just straight up chin ups. You know, me and my friends, my lifting partners, we've been doing probably the last 5 weeks. After our Friday strict curls, we'll do chin ups, right?
Yeah.
And we'll do them in all different kinds of ways. A couple weeks ago, it was 3 of us and we just rotated 5 each. You know, I got to a total of 105 until we called it quits.
Yeah.
Last week we did 3 sets of max reps. You know, I got to, I think, total of 60 or 65, something like that. So chin ups definitely help a lot, I think.
All right.
And if you can't do chin ups, then you do assisted chin up.
No, I can do chin-ups.
But you got to pay attention to it. You got to put the work in on it, just like you're putting the work on other things.
Here's another story. Now listening to my wife, I was doing strict curls right twice a week, heavy, twice a week, and my biceps were hurting. I was like, I feel I'm hurting like from the inside. She's like, yeah, that's tendonitis. You gotta like slow down. And I'm like, no, I think they're just growing.
Were they growing? Yeah, you can't. So the way that you're curling, right? You're putting a lot of stress on your biceps. The way that I'm curling is it's a full body thing, right? I'm using everything I can to be within the rules to get this bar up, right?
Yeah.
So curling twice a week, strict curling heavy twice a week is probably not a good idea. You know, strict curling once a week heavy is fine with one light day. That's, I think, okay for you.
I got to the point where I couldn't lift my arms. The doctor said it was like distal bicep tendonitis.
Yeah.
I was like, I couldn't pick my arms up like this way.
Yeah.
Well, like 6.
Yeah, man.
Well, it took like 6 weeks before I could start to lift again, and like by like week 4, and it still hurt. Like I thought I was never gonna be able to move my arms again. I really did.
Yeah.
I was so depressed.
Oh man, I've been there. Definitely like been there with a lot of things.
Yeah. Yeah. I've done so many stupid things like that training.
Oh yeah. I mean, you just get, you get wrapped up in things sometimes, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So I like to I train in like 8-week cycles. You know, so like my goal this cycle is I want to break that 110. Like I want to hit like 111 or 112.
Yeah.
And I take like an off week, and then like I think I have like 7 weeks to that meet in June. You know, so then I'll try and get up to like, I don't know, if I hit 111. You know, I don't know, depends on how it felt. You know, like 112, 113, something like that. You know, that's basically how I train.
Definitely try to get your hands on that Avanco bar.
Yeah, I know. There's so much stuff I want to buy. I have like a list. I want to buy a squat safety bar. I want to buy like that Cadillac bench bar. You know,
I got one of those.
yeah, I want to get that curl bar. So much stuff. I just got a reverse hyperextension.
Yeah.
That's pretty nice. So that's a nice toy. You know. Oh my goodness.
Well, that curl bar is probably going to be the cheapest thing on your list.
Yeah.
That Cadillac bar is going to be the most expensive.
I know. My
It's like $400.
Curl, so she had like major elbow damage, like she fell on a sailboat and demolished her arm, and she can't really rotate her hand like that. So she can't really.
So she can't supinate.
No.
So, but she does strict curls.
No, she doesn't strict curl.
Okay.
She doesn't strict curl. Yeah, it hurts her too much to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, I bet.
Like it's all like she really can't twist it much, and yeah, I mean she's got just gnarly scar like down her arm, like she just really demolished it.
Yeah, damn.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's it, dude. I think we've been on here for what? Hour 20 minutes, more than that, hour 40.
That's one of my longer podcasts.
Man.
Yeah, but hey, man, I got a friend in Maryland now.
Yeah, dude. Let me know when you're in town.
Yeah.
Come by. I'll teach you how to strip curl.
Yeah, man. Hey,
Yeah,
you told me a lot today. I'm gonna go look at that YouTube channel now.
check it out. Check it out. And
What-
practice.
What was the name?
What's Curling Avengers is our YouTube channel.
Curling Avengers.
And it's the strict curl technique.
All right. Yeah, I'm logging on there right now.
Yeah, it's videos, me, Max and Coop. I mean, you know Max and Coop.
Yeah.
So all this up there.
Yeah. I talked to Coop. Yeah, he looked at my stuff. He was like, "Yeah, it's like, it looks pretty good."
So Coop, yeah. So like, I mean, Coop is he's a freak, you know, with lifting. Like with curls, you know, he's extremely consistent. He's probably the most consistent curler. You know, I've had my ups and downs, had injuries and other things and whatnot, but I don't know. Coop, he's one I'm gunning for it at Masters Nationals. I got to beat Coop.
Yeah. That's gonna be fun to see. But hey, thanks a lot.
Yeah, it should be a good time.
Thanks a lot.
All right, man. Thank you. I'll talk to you later. See you later. Bye.